What's a non-political hill you're willing to die on? There should be no touch screens in cars, only buttons and knobs. I agree so much. Touch screens just are so much worse. With buttons you can develop a sort of muscle memory. With the touch screen you are forced to look and divert attention from the street. See, I remember my sister swearing she would never own a phone with a touch screen because she wanted to be able to feel the buttons on her phone keyboard without having to look at them. That was nearly 10 years ago. And she's had an iPhone for 8 of those years. When I was trying to sell a newer GT500, a lot of potential buyers would throw a fit when they learned that I purposefully avoided the stupid touchscreen nav unit. Unfortunately, my new car has one of those awful equipment systems that often glitches out, gets temperamental about connecting to my phone, and generally makes me angry. I have wanted to put my fist through that screen. Also adds to the period of it. Look at some of the first cars with touch screens. They look horrible. That will be your car in about 5-10 years. Buttons will never go out of style. No touch screens? I'll fight that one to the end. For the modern car, to access all the features, a touch screen is a far superior option compared to trying to navigate a screen with some clicky knob/pointer/scroll thing. Knobs and buttons are superior for basic function, but for higher level things, multiple menus and setup, a touch screen is far superior. Several courts have already ruled that a touch screen in the car is as distracting as your cell phone, making you liable for any accident you're involved in as a result of looking at the touch screen. Most websites these days are so obnoxiously overfilled with pop-up prompts that it actually makes me leave the page and look elsewhere. That damn cookies legal crap accept banner that pops up. Please take a survey about our website. Pop-up virtual assistant that does nothing. Can we send you notifications? We notice you're using it. Block. Stop that. Finally get to the actual website. Ads are crammed into and between sentences in an article or description of product. Start to scroll. The ads stay centered and the text moves behind it. Suddenly, something starts blaring noise. It's an ad. By that point, I'm done and that company lost my business. Website designers that do this need to stop looking both ways before crossing the street. Most video games have been ruined by the company owning them becoming greedy as shit and in turn not caring about the gameplay or the fanbase's happiness. Call of Duty, Online, League of Legends, etc. When game companies get too big, it's about making the most money while putting in the least effort. Just look at any yearly sports game and you can see this. This is why smaller game companies and indie devs have so much quality in their games, cause they are trying to earn your dollar. Obviously there are some exceptions like God of War, but the majority falls in this. A lot of it seems to be extreme parodies of how normies see grindcore or extreme metal, but in a Dada context. Noise rock is the counterpoint to how heavy and complex can rock get before it's something else altogether while being heavier than many things classed as metal music. The heaviest noise rock can even be mistaken for Merzbow too, since guitars, bass are just used as noise generators or to create synth-type sounds. Textures. A lot of it sounds like scary close to how ADHD, PH and bipolar sounds like when the hypomania kicks in, from the silly zero fucks attitude. Palate shaming, i.e., shaming someone for what they do/don't like to eat, is stupid. Promote healthy eating habits and exploration, but people have different tastes and that's okay. It doesn't affect anyone and no one should care. Taste shaming in general, what music you like, whether or not you like certain movies, etc. Do what you want. Let others enjoy what they like. Stop being fucking snobs. It is when you invite someone out for a meal but they only eat chicken nuggets and chocolate as a 29-year-old man. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is an interesting guy who as a teenager isn't respected because he has lots of energy and doesn't care about acting cool. That same character at 25 would be a catch. That's how I envision Peter Parker. He's only a dork because teens are idiots. Tobey played him like a little bitch-ass loser. That's my 2 cents. Tobey Maguire played a more classic to the original comics Spider-Man, who yes was a loser. He was just bad in every way until he got powers. He played a good Peter, not a good Spider-Man. Stan Lee essentially says the same thing in interviews. I do like Tom Holland better overall. It's just so much more heartwarming. At its core, Parks and Rec is about people who care about each other and are trying to do better for the people they share a town with. At its core, The Office is about the dysfunctional group of people being forced to be together. The only positive highlights are when an absolute asshole courts the receptionist and when Michael shows his kind, childlike warmth. Outside of those moments, it's a cringe fest. Sure, P&R has its cringe, but it's mostly about people just trying to do better and improve their surroundings, not endure them. Edit. I love The Office, just explaining why I think P&R is the better of the two. Well, see, that's why I love The Office. Cringe humor is probably my favorite kind of humor, so I'd say The Office reaches higher heights, but sinks to much lower lows. Parks and Rec's best is not as good as The Office's best, but their worst isn't anywhere near as bad. The school cafeteria pineapple on pizza was terrible. Pineapple on pizza when made well is pretty good. I feel like you must think this because you yourself like it, which is fine. Everyone has different tastes, but I think to some people, me included, the taste of mixing something so savory with something so sweet and juicy is just kinda gross. Though I agree there is a weird stigma around it the internet has created. Tried it many times. Wanted to love it because my wife loves it. I hate the combination. Doesn't mean I'd prevent anyone from enjoying it though. Veggies is a terrible word and anyone who says it sounds like a 5-year-old. Same with hubby. Also this stupid chalky, strawberry milk and nuggies, Tandy's baby talk meme that I've seen carried over into real life. I just realized people have a thing against abbreviation, which is the cornerstone of my dialect, Australian. It seems so normal to shorten just about everything that can be shortened and still makes sense that I don't question it, but it's really not for everyone. Sasuke is a lazy boss who wanted power and got it handed like a kid in the lollipop. I agree, but so did Naruto, having a Baijiu inside, and being the heir to the most powerful ninja is not something he worked for. They were both spoiled. Kakashi and Itachi on the other hand, pure talent and geniuses. Exactly. Though I feel nature was very slightly better than Sasuke with all the village defending despite outcast and all that shit. And Naruto had to train for most of his powers in Shippuden. Sasuke stole Itachi's eyes, and barely defeated an old man. Science and religion aren't irreconcilable. Well, that's because the conclusions we come to as a result of this scientific method are not entirely immutable once arrived at. Science just offers the best explanation given the evidence available at the time. Faith is simply belief with no evidence. So, if evidence for the thing that you have faith in becomes available, it will be tested, and a conclusion will be made that may or may not coincide with your existing belief. Are science and Santa irreconcilable? Of course not. Santa is kind of a cultural metaphor, and explicitly exists in that capacity. The problem comes when both try to insert themselves in the other's business. Scientists shouldn't be looking to debunk the Bible. To quote a great show, you can't fix faith. Faith fixes you. The Bible is one of, if not the, oldest books in human history and by far the most read. No one can claim it is irrelevant. In contrast, religious people shouldn't use the Bible as a basis for criticizing scientific theory, unless it's from a moral standpoint, but that's an entirely separate issue. The biggest divide is evolution versus the creation story. I think most Christians recognize the 7-day story is a parable. With that hurdle out of the way, and more wrestle with each passing year, There is no reason the two should be diametrically opposed. We are thinking beings with a natural curiosity about the world and the ability to understand it. The God I believe in doesn't restrict knowledge. Even in the creation story, he forbid eating from the tree, but did not prevent them from doing so. Online multiplayer sucks the joy from video games, unless it's with a close group of friends. But even in that case, LAN party or couch games are better. Being a grammar Nazi makes you look insecure. It's not the flex you think it is. I am specifically talking about people who get off on correcting others' grammar because it makes them feel intellectually superior. The exception is if someone is trying to claim everyone else is stupid and they have grammar errors in their post. Go ahead and point that shit out. FFS. Please do this. I'm sitting outside of a walk-in clinic now waiting to get antibiotics for an abscessed tooth because the pain has become unbearable. My right eye keeps leaking from the pressure and I've taken so much pain medication that my stomach hurts. I can't stand this pain much longer and I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours. My own abscess was painless, and I have always practiced good dental hygiene. Sometimes, a tooth silently dies and it's unpreventable. I was tested for, among other things, rheumatoid arthritis and chronic fatigue syndrome before they finally figured out what was wrong with me. In the decades since, I have recommended that people who are sick and nobody can figure out why see a dentist. If they haven't already, a root canal and 10 days of penicillin cured me. For about 25 years, and then it flared and had to be done over. Still have a front tooth, however, so it was worth it. Basically, it's an infection that just keeps spreading. In my case, it's because I have a rotten tooth that needs to come out, probably through surgery. And now I have a very large area above the front, right of my mouth that connects almost to my right eye. That would be the infected area. When I went to a sleepover as a kid, I didn't realize people brushed their teeth after eating breakfast. It was so weird to me. I always brushed right after getting up in the morning and then ate breakfast. Also, scraping your tongue helps with bad breath. Haha. For me it's the exact opposite. I was so weirded out like 2 weeks ago when I realized you were supposed to brush before breakfast. Now I realize why people aren't as insecure about their breath as me, although now it's fine. And yeah, tongue scraping is really important and effective. Figuring out what you like. Jobs. Volunteering you enjoy, exercise you enjoy, healthy food you enjoy, meditation/stretching/spiritual practices you enjoy, people you're excited to be around who don't judge you. There's lots of adults out there doing activities under the guise of happiness who've never devoted time to self-discovery. Been an adult for 10 years and other than healthy food you enjoy, that I still don't stick to 100% of the time. I haven't found any of the other things on this list despite a mostly concerted effort to search for them, especially first and last. Starting to believe enjoyment isn't something I'm wired for when it comes to the hard things in life: work, exercise, self-improvement through meditation/yoga/spirituality, socializing, hobbies. I mean other than typical kid stuff. Board games as well as outdoor games like tag, hide plus seek, playing make-believe. Not really. I'd say 90% of my free time as a kid was spent playing video games. I do still play video games and more or less enjoy them, I guess. It's hard to tell whether I play because they're fun or because they allow me to distract myself from my hopeless and anxious thoughts. I was also forced to participate in various sports, soccer, baseball, hockey, football, by my parents and never enjoyed it, mostly because participating in team sports was when I was bullied the most. I also took piano and guitar lessons, and did trombone in school, but never enjoyed it, and it was honestly an extremely frustrating experience once I got to the point where I wasn't improving anymore, so I stopped. Remember, with exercise, it's usually awful when you first start. You have to stick with it and keep it up to make it better. It will get easier and more enjoyable the more consistently you do it. I hated running when I first started. I've now done about 15 half marathons and 1 marathon, and I love running. I also still have bad runs. I just make sure to try again and not give up. I'm jealous, but also congrats. I seem to be immune to the endorphin hit. Runner's high. I've been working out regularly for about 5 years now, and I still hate it. The results are worth it though. The gym isn't fun, and it takes a ton of time I'd rather use for other things, but I'm approaching 30 and in borderline the best shape of my life. Got real out of shape during the pandemic, because I never cracked the secret of forcing myself to work out at home. If I go to the gym, I only have to be disciplined enough to get there. Once I'm there, there's nothing to do but work out. I'm also just more aware of my body now than I used to be. I know what's tight, how far I can push myself, can tell good pain from bad pain, know how to handle small injuries, have better ergonomics, etc. Now, rock climbing and long-distance hiking are things I truly enjoy, but I don't get to do them anymore because my partner isn't able to, and I hate doing them alone. Skeptical. Understand yourself, your body, your condition, and learn how to take care of yourself as much as you can. Example: learn how to cook a healthy yet delicious food. Learn how to cook in an unlikely condition, like and rush, ingredient substitute. Learn food prep. Learn managing groceries from purchasing, storage, to recycle. Learn how to cut your own hair. Learn laundry management. Learn how to take care of your house, etc. In 5 years you'll thank yourself for learning all of these. Learn how to cut your own hair. Agree with all except this. I used to cut my own hair for 5+ years. You think you get good at it, and maybe you can give yourself something that looks great for that one angle in the mirror, but at best you'll only be giving yourself C haircuts. Just get yourself to a barber, salon and look your best. Google is really good for this. Think of a relatively simple restaurant dish and Google a recipe. Put healthy in front of it and you'll get a different version. A lot of recipes are just different ways to cook the same thing. Come up with a few ways to cook staples like potatoes and rice and practice them so they are always really yummy. Likewise for something like carrots or onions, and keep a good sauce on hand, and learn some easy, tasty recipes for whatever kind of protein you like. If you have a few good ways to cook simple foods and you keep some long-lasting veg in the fridge cupboards, you can always come up with a quick meal. If you're in a pinch, well, the potatoes are really good so you can deal with some tin peas, you know. I read an article about Drake and how he stays fit. The article said Drake one time did 100 burpees in 40 minutes. I fucking hate Drake. I hate his music. I hate his face. So out of spite, I decided to get my ass off the couch and beat that. I did it in 20 minutes half the time just to prove that Drake was a punk ass bitch. It was very exhausting, but I did it. I then realized that if I can get that good of a workout in 20 minutes, then why am I stressing about going jogging or going to the gym? So now I do burpees all the time, and I'm getting pretty fit. I can do 100 in less than 10 minutes. I know everyone hates burpees, but you know what I hate more? Drake. It may not work for everyone, but maybe give stick.com a shot. You set a goal and a bet and you can set it up so if you don't reach your goal it goes to a charity you absolutely hate. Nothing gets me doing push-ups like knowing if I don't, the Trump 2024 campaign is going to get my $100. I know what you want to say, but I feel the need to throw in a little additional info. Don't go jogging if you A, have problems with your knees, or B, are overweight. You will do yourself no favor. Knee problems shouldn't be ignored anyways, and going for a jog while overweight will cause knee damage. And dear God, get some good shoes for the right thing. Shoes for running on concrete are very different to shoes you want to use on softer surfaces. There are also other sports to get started if you can't go jogging for one reason or another.